Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to today's conversation on Gift of Healing TV. And I am delighted to be joined for this program by David Tyrrell. David, thank you so much for joining me.
Good evening, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yes, because David has been my co-host here in the past. My current co-host, Scott Holmes, is currently in Greece. And I hope he said he was going to be enjoying Delphi today. So I hope he's enjoyed Delphi. And we were going to be joined by Patricia Kerins, again, who's been a co-host with me. But sadly, Patricia's not very well. And so she hasn't been able to join us. So we are very disappointed. We say, get well soon, Patricia. And we're going to dive into a conversation. And folks, as I've said, David's been my co-host. So if you want to go and look up about David, hopefully you'll just enjoy the conversation between the two of us. And we're going to be talking about trust, universal, divine timing. David, I let you choose the topic. So I'm going to say to you, what do you mean by that?
Well, it was very interesting when you approached me and said, okay, what do you want to talk about? What's the subject? And this came up immediately in my mind. And I thought maybe this will assist others to help what's going on, especially in energetically turbulent times, because everything is everywhere for so many. What the first thing reminded me was, as many people will have known, I've worked for and on behalf of Spirit in various guises for 35 years. And there was some times when you think, okay, and you've got to think about keeping a roof over your head and making sure you're looking after yourself as well. And there were times when everything just stopped. And I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done wrong? What am I meant to be doing? And why has everything stopped? And it was through conversations with my guides and through confirmation, speaking to the physical realms as well, that they said, you can't keep going. None of us were built to keep going at 30,000 miles an hour. And sometimes it just stops. And this divine timing stops because it needs to stop. You need to recover. You need the time for you, because if you're a person that's giving out, which many of us are, we don't stop to think about ourselves. So these divine timings of gaps of where no requests were coming in to work or nothing was happening. And I thought, and you sit there and you think, oh my goodness. But it's things that are happening that just fall into place. And these gaps are for you. They're not for anybody else. So these divine timing gaps are there to take time for you to recharge your batteries, to regroup your energy. And we, as a human source, everything's revolved around time. The man-made unnatural time, because the days are made up, the hours are made up. They're not original. They're what man made to put us into a system. So we always think, oh, I've got to do this by 12 o'clock, or I need this. If you're putting out a manifestation, I need this now. Well, maybe the divine timing, the natural timing is saying, this is not for you now. And we get so in our head to say, oh, it's got to be on October the 5th, or it's got to be December the 12th that I need to do this by. But spiritually, it will happen in the time that is right and not the man-made time that is made up. I hope I'm explaining this clearly enough.
I understand you.
If anybody's listening and don't understand, please put a comment up and Sarah jump in. But we have to live more in the moment. And by living more in the moment, we are living more in divine timing, because it is only this very moment that exists. How we started 5 minutes ago has gone. That time isn't here anymore. The time going forward hasn't arrived yet, but it now has, but it's now just the now. So the more we can work with the natural divine timing and sit with it, and I know we have to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever, we need that structure. But the more we can spiritually live in the divine moment, I think the more that will come into us, and we're not blocking it with our head or the 7 o'clock time that we put upon it. Does that make sense, Sarah?
Oh, to me, it makes an awful lot of sense. I'm one of these people that when I stopped working for a company and went self-employed, yes, I obviously have to keep an eye on time if I've got a client coming. Yes, because there are timings around that. We've got timing of the program. Yes. But I actually stopped wearing watches over 20 years ago because I wasn't going to be pinned to the time on my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And actually in this particular room, other than the clock on my computer, and when my computer goes off at night, I haven't got a clock in this room. I have a clock in my therapy room because of obviously having to, but yeah, time. But I would like to take the divine timing in another direction, because you're talking about asking for something. But universe, source, creator, God, whatever you like, you're asking for something. And you can get one of three answers. Yes. Not now. I have something better for you. It's the universe's timing. It's not ours.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all very well. And how many times have we hoped something would happen and it hasn't? It's because it's either not meant for us, or it's the universe saying, this isn't to happen yet. When I got my lifequake wake-up call, my broken jaw that gave me 6 months of pain and sleepless nights, to me, that was the universe's timing of, okay, you've done enough of that way of living. Now it's time to wake you up.
Yeah.
And that was the universe's timing. As much as I could think, oh, how many years did I waste? I didn't waste any, providing I learned from all the experiences I had during that time. They may not have been comfortable experiences, but that's beside the point. Did you learn from them? Did I learn from the jobs that I had? Did I learn from, sort of the things that happened to me, the places I went, the people I met? Did I learn from everything that happened in that period of time? Because nothing that we experience is a waste.
Absolutely not.
Us with what when I think of the years I spent in retail, and now I love doing fairs and events because I know how to be.
That was a good grounding.
Yeah. I've worked in public houses, serving behind the bar. I've worked as a waitress. It's all dealing with people. And what do I do now? I deal with people. I work with people. I connect with people. But I now do it with considerably more confidence than I did back then. That was a very fake confidence back then, but it's a very real confidence today.
Yeah. And I think that's really interesting. So many people say, oh, I wish I'd learned this. I wish I'd been aware of this. But if you was meant to be aware or have learnt it at that time, divine timing would have put it in place for you. So there's kind of no regrets. I remember my parents when they were alive, and I taught them Reiki. And they said, oh, I just wished, because especially my mum had a lot of health problems and it helped her. And my mum said, oh, I wish I'd known this about you 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But she had to go through what she had to go through for her lessons and for mine. And I remember saying when I learnt Reiki for the first time, I says, oh, if only I'd had this 20 years ago, 5 years ago. And my teacher then said, look at your feet. Where are your feet? And that's where you are now, and that's where you're meant to be. So all this natural things happen in divine timing. And I think the more we can release from the mind, from our earthly logical mind about things, the more we can release, the more our life will flow. And I've started, I'm just getting a reminder here, which I've kind of, over the past week, because I've had a lot going on, I've kind of put it to one side, or I've forgotten about it. Could be an age thing. But I used to wake up every morning and say, okay, show me clearly what I need to learn or have today. And I think if we do that, our life flows, we ease up on the mind, because what is naturally ready for us, we're ready to receive by just having that moment with divine timing. Okay, what do I need to know today? Who do I need to see? What do I need to experience today? Or what do I need to receive today for me? And I think if we can start living in that moment and that divine timing, our life will flow and our awareness will flow a lot easier, and we won't give ourselves so many headaches.
Do you know, listening to you talk then, and I was just thinking, because we make, and I know some people struggle with this, but we make the choices of things we are going to experience in this life.
Yeah.
And in amongst that is the timing. So we talk about divine timing because we are all connected to the divine, to the creator, to great mystery, to God, source, whatever you want to refer to it as. We are all connected with it and connected with each other. We make our choices, and we have those people who agree to be part of helping make our choices happen. And we are also those that agree to help other people make their choices happen. And therefore, wow, what an amazing system to make all these things slot into place when they are meant to.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see a human brain do that.
Even our computers can't. And that breaks down.
So I think it's trusting that the experiences that I had, they were experiences I gave myself, experiences I chose. Whether I enjoyed them as a human or not is beside the point, but they are experiences I've had because those experiences are my healing journey's gift to the world. And it's the healing journey. It's not the experiences I had, but the healing of those experiences. And it had to be about the divine timing of which resulted, in the breakup of a marriage. And at the same time, we then were told by the company that it was being taken over and we were going to be out of a job. I mean, the things that happened all at the same time. But do you know what? I wasn't even on this path that I was aware of. But I was in that place of, okay, it's happening. It's fine. I'll be okay. And I didn't understand why I felt like that. I just did. Yeah, I had my main boss at work, because I went to, as we got told about the jobs, etc. And I went and sort of told him about the fact that my marriage had broken up. And he said, Sarah, look, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? I said, if you want anybody to share with others and make it help them feel positive, ask me, because I'm feeling fine about all of this. And I still don't quite understand how I knew, but it was going to be okay. And it brought me down to Bournemouth. And I've touched the lives I have, and I've grown so much.
Yeah, I totally get that, because when I wrote my book, it wasn't until I finished, I started saying, oh, that had to happen then. This had to happen now. And as I went through it and I was like proofreading it, I'm going, my goodness me, if that hadn't have happened, then that wouldn't have fitted in there. And it's such an amazing thing. And I would suggest, and maybe you, Sarah, get people, or suggest that people write down significant experiences in their life, because they will see why things have had to happen at that particular moment in the steps, and saying, okay. And when you look at it and you look back at your own timeline, you say, everything happened there for a reason. Divine timing.
100%. And when I went to see a psychotherapist to help me just understand why I'd been the way I'd been, mind you, after the traumas of my childhood, it's hardly surprising, but then it helped me to understand. But one of the things she said to me was, you never know when you're being lucky. And I can actually see that one of the best things that could have ever happened in my life was that broken jaw and the 6 months of pain and sleepless nights, because it actually spurred me on to leave a marriage I shouldn't have been in, except that actually I was going to take redundancy from the company, but I'd already moved down to here in the process, mostly at their expense, because I was doing a secondment down here. So, but it was all totally legal and above board. I don't take anything I shouldn't from people. And seriously, the gift of that. But what I had to do was I had to make the move to start it all happening.
Yeah.
Leave my marriage. So you talked about sort of why do things ever suddenly come to a standstill, because the universe is giving us a break. But it's also, if it's time for us to move forward, we have to be the ones in so many cases that say, okay, it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. It's time to make the space so that the universe can bring in what is waiting to come in.
Yeah. I totally understand that. And I know a relationship broke up earlier this year. And normally everybody gets upset, and sometimes there's a reason to be. But when we looked at it, it was that we'd done everything for each other that we needed to do. And it was just divine timing that this was okay. Now we've both got to go our own separate ways so that we can reevaluate ourselves, go forward on different paths, expand in ourselves, where if things had stayed where they were, nobody was going to go move forward. So it was important to give thanks to all these experiences, because they gave what you want, and then at the right time, things had to move forward. And it's like you say, sometimes we're told we've got to have these breaks because we've now got to go forward, expand, regroup, whatever we need to do. So things happen at the time they're meant to happen.
Yeah. And, you know, I know that he was my second husband. I know he was not happy. I know he wasn't. And there wasn't anything I could do about that, because I was actually starting to learn that I had to be true to me. And I've always sort of, with my first husband, with my second husband, sadly, my first husband since died, but always hoped that everything would be okay. And he did meet somebody else. And they ended up by adopting, I think she was 9 at the time, a 9-year-old girl. If we'd have stayed together, that would never, ever have happened. No. It really wouldn't have happened. And it was divine timing for him, although whether he'd be open to that, I don't know, because I haven't had conversation with him for years. But, you know, and she must be in her 30s now. So I am just so grateful that his life was able to move forward, and I hope has been so fulfilling for him.
Yeah, and I think that is so magical. If we look at life in general, you know, whether they're good, bad, or in different experiences, they all happen at the right time. And it's just miraculous the way things come together. How many people watching this or watch this in the future, you know, say, God, I was just thinking of so-and-so, and in they came. It was divine timing that they were thinking, and this person called, or they met them in the street, or I was thinking about this, and then someone said such and such to me. And it could be a complete stranger. But these acts of divine timing are miracles in so many ways. And I think if we get those acts of miracles or acts of divine timing, I think to enhance that and to recognize them more, it would be lovely to say, thank you, universe. Thank you, source. Thank you, creator. Whoever you want to put that up to for your own understandings or beliefs. Because the more we are grateful, the more comes in, and it amplifies it, because the universe or the source is saying, oh, now you get how we speak to you. Now you know how it works. We'll pile more of this on for you.
I remember years ago, and I can't remember what I said to this lady. I really can't. But I was at an event, and I had a stand, and somebody came up and sort of talked to me, and I can't remember what she talked to me about. It doesn't matter. But I was openly honest with her from my understanding. And I've been trolled off by my sort of friend that I share a house with, and he's told, you can't talk to people like that. And it's just like, yes, I can. Because I believe I'm meant to. I'm meant to be open and honest with my understandings.
Yeah.
And this lady, she phoned me. And she started the conversation with, I was so cross with you. I thought, oops. And then she said, and then I thought about it. And she said, you're the only one who's been honest with me. And when I talk to people at events, when I share whatever with them, I know that I'm meant to, because they wouldn't be there if I wasn't meant to. Mm. And if I'm the first person to say that to them, then fine. But I could be the second person. I could be the third person. At some stage, they will get it and they will act on it. But if we don't allow ourselves to be part of divine timing, those people aren't going to get to where they're meant to be because we haven't fulfilled part of our role. Because divine timing, we are used for that.
Yeah, each and every one of us is a part of that.
Yeah.
And it's so important that that's why we are our I can't get the words out, our authentic selves. I had an operation on my teeth yesterday and they're still coming together. But yeah, we have to be, otherwise we are breaking the chain of that miraculous divine timing. And then you get jars you get breaks in the timeline and energy doesn't flow and things don't happen the way they should be. So it's like fitting the wrong piece of jigsaw into a place. It's not going to make that picture if we don't say what we need to or be our authentic selves, not just for us, but for others as well. In part of that whole divine timing, we're putting divine timing up the creek without a paddle.
It's so important to be you, true to you, the beautiful being of light that you are. Trust. If you're meant to say something, do something, be somewhere, trust it. If you're not meant to, you'll be stopped. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. If you really aren't, and I always ask the angels of journeys for a safe journey and as swift as possible, but I always remember safe first. And then suddenly, especially if you're in a hurry, traffic lights go red on you. And rather than getting stressed, it's okay, there's 3 reasons. Somebody requires it more than I do to have a green light. They're clearing the road in front of me to make it easier for me. Or actually, they're keeping me off that piece of road. It wouldn't have been safe for me.
Yeah.
How we view things is going to be, it's really, can we view things and think, okay, there are reasons. We may not know what those reasons are, but accept the fact there is always going to be the right thing for you at the right time.
Yeah.
And trust that. And I know it's not easy.
It's so hard because we are so in our logical brain, or we would like this, we would like that. And that's natural because we are human in this 3D world. Yeah. And that's what we've got to experience. But this has become so out of balance. Yeah. And I think the more we can go back and say, well, I'm part of divine timing. As a cat, as a dog, as a squirrel, as your neighbor, as somebody 5,000 miles away, we're all part of that divine timing of coming together. And without each one of us, if we don't play the part or be the part and be our strong selves and say what we need to, then we are breaking that chain of divine timing, not only for us, but maybe for other situations down the road.
Yeah. And I think that going back to that, you never know when you're being lucky. You miss a train, you miss a plane, and then it crashes. You may feel unlucky initially, but how are you going to feel? Think about all those people that were meant to be in the Twin Towers and weren't, were meant to be on those planes and weren't, because their number wasn't up. They weren't meant to be there. If something stops you, trust it.
Yeah, don't get worked up about it.
No, it's not worth it. Yeah, seriously, we're still going to have that human thing. We really are, because we're here to have the experiences. But you will be stopped if you're not meant to be somewhere, and you will be put where you are meant to be. So trust in life, in the experiences that you're here to have. And we get it, it's not easy. We sound as if we've got it all off pat. No, we haven't.
No, we learn through these conversations.
Oh, absolutely. The conversation we were having before we even started the program actually came up with some bits and pieces. And it was just like, okay, fine. So there were some light bulb moments during that. And there are light bulb moments, hopefully, for you listening to this.
Yeah.
Any final words? Because we haven't got Patricia or Scott, we are going to make this a shorter one than usual. But David, any final words?
I would just like to say to people, have a think about these divine timing moments. Maybe make a journal of when things have fell into place, because it may be helping you create an easier life for yourself if you become aware of them. Remember, you are also a piece of divine timing, or not a piece, but you are part of the divine timing, not only for you, but for others as well. So let's start living in the awareness of divine timing that runs through everything. And let's see how our lives change.
You said about sort of the good things, but actually write down about the things that you considered bad at the time.
Yeah, sorry,
because you may have considered that they were bad at the time. But what has been the result from that? So I can look back and I can see the results when everything then suddenly started falling into place. And I think it's Neil Donald Walsh who says, perhaps when everything is falling apart, it is actually falling together. So trust the divine timing. David, it's been a pleasure as always. We always have great conversations. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Next week, I am being joined by Gabrielle Kaplan-Mayer, Finding Your Wisdom Through Writing, which actually goes on very well from what we've just said.
Divine timing.
They know how to put my programs together. They do. They really do. David, thank you so much. I hope you'll consider joining us again in the future. Take care.
I will do.
Safe. Stay well. Namaste, sweet.